Welcome to Crushgasm, the podcast dedicated to the highs and some lows of crushes. From their first to their worst, we're going to cover them all with a cascade of characters, including our guest today, a creative dynamo here to talk about not one, not two, but three people they credit to their sexual awakening. Danielle Grubb, a musician, Rubik's Cube enthusiast, cosmonaut, and aspiring Sphinx cat parent, who has an exciting film series in the works, The Fall of Jameson Roy Film. We're going to get to that later, but right now, let's get to this trio of sexual awakenings that date back to the turn of the millennium. Danielle, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So we're going to talk about sexual awakenings, and for those who hear that and are a little bit confused, these are the types of crushes that not only make you feel a certain type of way in certain areas, but also give you an insight into the type or types of people you'd want to be with, as well as our sexualities, which for you, with three distinct crushes throughout the years, I'd say your various sexual awakenings could be likened to more of a journey of self-discovery over time without revealing who they are just yet. Would you agree with that these three allowed you to discover new layers of yourself?
For sure. Yeah, I would say that for sure.
Okay. Do you think there are still some things that are left to discover about yourself?
Yeah. I think, like as you get older, your preferences and like expectations and needs change. And it's always like an ongoing conversation, with yourself and with other people. So, yeah.
All right, we're going to get to these crushes right now. When your first crush, or sexual awakening, came into light, the world was almost a full year out from the fears of Y2K. You were a mere 8 years old watching the remake of a classic 70s TV show on the big screen, Charlie's Angels, when you saw her, Drew Barrymore. Was it more the character in the movie or just her as a whole? Because back then, Drew was working. But then again, I don't think maybe your parents weren't comfortable with you watching Scream. But, what was it about Drew Barrymore?
Oh, goodness. Okay, it's kind of a long story.
Go ahead.
I guess my parents, I have an older sister. And so my parents had the sex talk with me and my sister at the same time. So I guess I got it ahead of some people. But when we would have like movie nights as a family, but we had like code words for specific things that we weren't allowed to watch just yet. Mm-hmm. But I guess when I was 8 or 9, my sister was 9 and 10 or 10 or 11. And so they were like forgetting to call things out. So the word for nudity was cauliflower. And there's a scene in that movie where she like falls from a window. Mm-hmm. And she gets like unraveled and it's like her silhouette. And that was like the first time that I had seen like a feminine figure. And I was, it was explained to me in the sex talk that I was supposed to, there was just certain expectations of who I was supposed to interact with, whenever I got to that point in my life. Mm-hmm. But seeing her, seeing the figure, I was like, oh, I think that's probably something that I'm attracted to and will be seeking out. And then I guess I started, her as a person, she's kind of cool too. She's cool. She's got like a vineyard somewhere, I've heard. But yeah, that was like that's the first one. And I think from there, it kind of like took me on this journey. I was like identifying as lesbian at the time, like when I got to like middle school and high school. And so that had like a big impact on like my identity and my sexual identity and like gender identity at that time.
So your parents, they were like, okay, we have one that's a little older, so we're just gonna just knock these conversations out together.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's smart because there's people that think like a certain age, maybe 8, is a little too young for a sexual awakening, but I think those people are wrong, because when I was 5, I remember watching Dirty Dancing, and Patrick Swayze made me feel things. I was 5.
Weird. Yeah.
So I don't know why my mom was letting me watch that kind of movie in kindergarten, but she was. But since this was the first time Cauliflower kind of made you feel something about Drew Barrymore, before that, did you have crushes in like school, or was this the first person where you're like, okay, that's good?
I had one crush in like kindergarten. His name was Kyle, but like I had a crush on him specifically because he was the only other kid in the class that his family was from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and so I just convinced myself, I was like, I'm gonna marry Kyle when I get older, because our families are from the same place. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, besides Kyle, no, I didn't really have any crushes.
Have you ever looked up Kyle today?
Well, he came up on my like Facebook a couple of years ago.
That's crazy.
As like a suggested friend,
and
I was like, oh wow.
Like, no, Kyle, we've moved on.
Yeah, we're over it, Kyle.
Bye, Felicia.
My kindergarten crush was Kenny, and it's only because we had the same babysitter, and he was around. So, well, we still have a ways to go in terms of acceptance when talking about LGBTQA plus community. I mean, we've come a long way in the past 20 years, but back then when you had your cauliflower moment with Drew, I mean, did you know what that meant for you to start maybe identifying as lesbian? Did you know like that term at all?
No, I didn't know that term. And it was, wow, that's actually a really good question. Because I was experiencing like a lot of things at the same time, like sort of like coming into like my own like body, like how my body was turning out to be, and then trying to find like reflection, I guess. And so I didn't really know. I had to search, like I had to like go into I was in like a chat room one time when I was younger, but it was for like teens. It was like a teens chat room, and it was like linked through MySpace, I think. And so I had to like ask questions and like find people and like join these communities and like be very secretive about like what I was trying to figure. Like I didn't know the questions to ask at the time, so it was just a lot of like, I don't know, secret. I had the internet, so secret searching on the internet for communities.
That's good. Sorry. So I think like the internet definitely helped a certain generation a lot more than I grew up in the 90s. So it's like, no. No. We had Ellen, and then we had Will and Grace. It was like, that was kind of the
yeah.
Was like it.
Yeah, for sure. I had to do like, how old were you in the 90s, if you don't mind me asking?
I was born in 87, so that's kind of, my childhood is straight 90s. Like I was Backstreet Boys, Titanic, I was in it.
Okay, so I'm 92, so
my brother.
Not too far, but yeah, like I don't know. I kind of lucked out because the internet was like dial-up was happening, but then like all the other stuff was happening right after. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was able to get access to more information. I feel like it was easier for me, I feel like, with the internet. I didn't, with like media though, it was a little bit, just because my family like didn't really, I don't know, it was just so far out of like my family's scope at the time. Mm-hmm. I had to go to like YouTube and like find like the L Word and like what's the Queer as Folk, but then there's like another one, Noah's Ark and all that. I had to like go find those shows just by searching through YouTube for like clips of things. Yeah.
Did you watch those in secret? Because my family, I don't identify, I'm cis. And, but I love Queer as Folk. That was my favorite show, all-time show. Brian Kenny's my favorite TV character ever. And I would watch, my family didn't care I watched it, but the intro was a little much for them. So did you ever watch, did you have to like hide watching those?
I did, yeah, I did. And so the first LGBT film I owned was Itty Bitty Titty Committee by, I think it's Jamie Babbitt. It's the writer director. So I had that, I was like ordering these like films and I would hide them in my closet in this box and then I would, watch them on my laptop. But yeah, that's I would for sure watch them in secret. And then, I had like a couple of friends who were like interested in those films too. And so we would like talk about them.
Yes, a little secret group going on.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you and Drew parted ways when you hit high school. Any particular reason your crush on Drew Barrymore kind of fizzled out at the time?
I think I started dating people, and so I was like focused on whoever my partner was at the time.
Oh, you got a life.
I guess so, yeah.
Me in my late 20s, that's when I started.
Okay, cool.
My crushes had to last till then. So by 18, someone new came into the picture. Mr. Tom Hardy. Unlike Drew, this crush is still active as active today as it was back in 2010 when you were watching Inception. While I don't think he's ever gotten the title or the cover, this is a man that many would consider people's sexiest man alive. So we're on this sexual awakening journey with you right now. What about Tom Hardy or that character awoke a new layer in you?
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
He's okay. He's so masculine, but he's like very gentle when he speaks. Like he's very thoughtful and like intentional. I don't know.
His voice doesn't match.
Yeah, it does. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like out on the roof. Yeah, it was so, I forget. I don't even know if it's like, and it also the suits that he wears in that film, very nice suits. He looks very good in the suit. But yeah, he was just so, it was just like the first time that I saw like, it was like masculinity that wasn't, I don't know. I don't want to just say toxic. I don't want to like lump it all in a like the toxic masculinity category, but it didn't feel toxic to me. It felt like, yeah, like thoughtful and intentional about like when he was like being masculine and when he, was just chilling. And he's also just an amazing actor. I kind of like went, I will watch anything that he's in probably.
Do you like Venom?
Venom. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen Venom, but I do like Venom. I used to collect like some of the Spider-Man comics and some of the Venom comics, and so I'm like afraid to watch. Sometimes it takes me a while to watch whenever they make like a comic book into a film, because I'm holding on to my little to how I feel about it. But
I was worried because like sometimes those films are, you're just like, but this one, I loved it. I thought it was this beautiful story of a man and his symbiote. I loved his interaction with, the thing in him. I just thought they were so fun. I said it was a rom-com.
Okay.
So,
I'll watch it. That makes me want to watch it.
Like, I'm so excited for the sequel. I was like, this better get a sequel because they said, they set it up for one. So I was like, yes.
Cool. I'll catch up on that.
After like Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok, this and the WandaVision, I think this is one of the better.
I haven't seen WandaVision, but people keep recommending it to me.
I love TV, so that was like mostly why I like to watch it, but it did get interesting, the story.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one. So before we talk about your third sexual awakening crush, which, spoiler, is your fiance, because you're engaged and your crush on Tom Hardy still remains active, is he your agreed upon hall pass?
No, so if you want to talk about it, my partner and I are both polyamorous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess it's not really like a hall pass. It's kind of just, we both have a crush on Tom Hardy.
Oh, so Tom, if you find this, hit him up.
For sure.
Yes, your third and final crush we're going to talk about today is your lovely fiance, who you met just last year when you made a joke about aliens that caused them to slide into your DMs. First off, what was that joke?
Okay, so oh my goodness. My roommate was mowing our lawn, but he was doing it in a really weird way where it looked like crop circles. And so I was taking a video of my backyard as like an alien doc series. It was like narrating how the crop circles were arriving in my backyard. And they thought it was really funny. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's it. That's what this love connection happened. Crop circles.
Yeah.
Are you planning a wedding?
So we've decided, we did a lot of planning in the first year of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We moved together across the country, and so we decided that we were gonna just wait a second and just bask in the joy of the relationship for a little bit before planning that. So, and there's a few things that we both want to do, but I think, I don't know, in the next, not this year, but the following year, we'll probably start planning for our wedding. But we have some themes that we're talking about, and some colors that we're thinking about. So I guess we're still planning. I don't know. We're both Capricorns. So
will crop circles be involved in the themes?
Maybe. No spoilers.
Maybe something alien-like, as maybe what are they? The gift you give the guests.
Oh yeah.
Or
maybe.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So, as with Drew and Tom, they awoke something different in you. What was it about? What about Hedda? What awoke? What did she or they awaken you?
So they were very the way that let me see if I can explain this. So the way that I have always interacted with my sexuality was usually in a gendered way because of some expectations that people had put on me and expectations that I put on myself. Does that make sense without being too vague? Or
that makes sense.
Okay. And so my partner is agender, and the way that they express themselves, they're kind of devoid of gender. So it's whenever we interact in intimate ways, there's always room for me to express what I am wanting and needing, regardless of expectation of presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that allowed me to actually reconsider what my needs and what my wants were for I think probably the first time ever. I feel regardless if we are doing it consciously or subconsciously, we gender our activities and our actions a lot. And whenever we stop doing that, you can actually get to the point of I want this because this feels good, as opposed to putting an expectation on yourself.
So they were truly a sexual awakening.
Yeah.
Truly, to the full extent. So I feel like our crushes, whoever they are, definitely help shape who we ultimately find ourselves wanting to spend our lives with. Do you feel like your fiance possesses anything that you saw in or liked about Drew Barrymore and or Tom Hardy?
My fiance is for sure like the crush of my dreams, and like embodies like different things about probably all the things that I've ever wanted in a life partner, for sure. With like every crush I've ever had, it's like I'm like, yeah, you're like all of my crushes, but none of my crushes at the same time.
So we initially connected when I interviewed you for Zoe magazine about your music. Then I asked you to compare your album to a favorite dish. You said your sound was comparable to a Caribbean curried goat meal. Now I have to end our chat today asking you sort of the same question, but I'd like you to share with us what flavors you feel these three crushes represent best and why. Make us a meal.
Oh goodness. Okay. Ooh, Drew Barrymore is like a pasta and wine combo. Mm-hmm. Like a red wine pasta, maybe like, I don't know, like an Alfredo sauce situation with mushrooms, I think. My fiance is like really spicy chilaquiles. Vegan chilaquiles, really spicy vegan chilaquiles. And then I think Tom Hardy is probably like a steak with like some mashed potatoes, you know, and some like asparagus, like nothing too crazy, but like still very good and consistent.
All right. Well, those are all really good meals.
Yeah.
I'd probably eat the Tom Hardy one.
Cool.
Because I love potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes.
So now it's time to tell us more about your film series, The Fall of Jameson 1.
All right. So it's about a few different things, and it is a trilogy. So it jumps between periods of time, and we follow this character, Jameson Roy, who is trying to navigate their purpose and friendship and love. And in the first film, we have Jameson, we have one of their best friends, Charlie, we have a modern version of a thunder god, Jupiter, and then we have a Venusian alien named Sarah, who shows Jameson, you know, a bit about himself, history, and takes them sets them on a larger journey. So yeah, that's the gist, I guess. It's about a lot of things, but that's the gist of the first one. If you want me to be more specific, let me know.
Is this something you've been working on for a while outside of music? Have you always wanted to do film?
You know, I did always want to do film, like since I was pretty young. It was something I wanted to get to do. But this specific project, I started working on it right before COVID, and we were gearing up to, you know, get all the people together to start filming. And then quarantine happened and everything kind of halted. We were going to turn it into a graphic novel. But then we didn't do that. And it's been something that I wanted to do for a while. And I think that this is probably one of my favorite things that I've created. And I'm excited to share it with everyone.
I'm excited for when it drops. Are you going to be doing the music for it as well?
Yes. So the music actually is intertwined with the plot. There are 3 albums that are going to go with each film. So the first film goes with the album The Fall of Jameson Roy, and it is mostly the songs on that record. Some of them are performed a cappella, but they sort of help with the narration of the movie and take on different purposes throughout the film.
It sounds like you have a lot going on. A lot of creative, good stuff going on. Danielle, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about your sexual awakening crushes. Everyone, you can find all of Danielle's information below in the description. And until next time, keep crushing it.